Welcome to Designing Your Life Today, the podcast designed for people who want to build a magnificent life, profitable business, and lots of wealth. Everything you desire is waiting for you to claim it. There's no creating involved, only invention through imagination and building through action. You are at the center of all your desires, dreams, and achievements. Welcome to Designing Your Life Today, the podcast that's all about your success, achieving your goals, building wealth through your business, and building your most passionate, powerful, magnificent life. Discover ways to use your purpose to connect you to serving others and living your dreams. I am Pat Council, and I know you are built by design to win. And it all begins with knowing how to tap into your success energy. Let's get on the path of discovery, decisive action, development, and unwavering dedication to your life's calling. It's time to embark on a transformative journey where your deepest passions become your most rewarding achievements. Embrace your power to shape your destiny, because this is your moment to do life with power. Hello, Power Up Nation. I am Pat Council, and I am going to talk about how attitude controls your imagination and brings you success. So it's important to understand the power behind an attitude. We hear a lot about having a positive attitude, and then we hear, okay, you should not have a negative attitude. So I want to talk a little bit about why the attitude that you choose at any given time, why it is important when it comes to you achieving your goals, when it comes to building your magnificent life, and when it comes to success. By the way, because this is the month of July, and we are in America here, we celebrate Independence Day. So I decided to designate this month for everyone, regardless of where you live. I call it Let Your True Freedom Ring. Now, Let Your True Freedom Ring is really all about you being your most authentic self, aligning with the person you were designed to be, and really just doing what it takes so that you can have the kind of freedom that you're looking for. So we're talking about financial freedom. We're talking about love. We're talking about all of the above. The freedom in your relationships, where the love just flows. And of course, freedom to be as healthy as you were designed to be. So think about what aspects of your life you would like to have more freedom in. Most people want to have more freedom in not having to go to work. Okay, they want to have the freedom to do the thing that they're most passionate about. So hopefully the things I'm going to share with you throughout this month will guide you toward that. Which, by the way, before we go any further, when it comes to getting that freedom, it is important that you build your own income, and then you can take control of your destiny. Now, I want to say this up front. Things don't happen just because we wish, but they do happen once we turn that wish into an achievable goal. It's connected to our divinely inspired purpose, and then we step out and we start doing what it takes to make that happen. So with that being said, I'm going to talk about this in a masterclass. It's called Build Your Own Income. And we are going to cover a lot. So you guys can go and get the details by going to Designing Your Life Achievers Academy /courses/ build your own income, or just go to designingyourlifeachieversacademy.com, and it's right there on the homepage. Or you can look in the show notes and I will have a link there for you. So it's coming up fairly quickly. People are signing up, and once it becomes full, then of course Well, that's that for this particular masterclass. So make sure you get your seat. It's going to be amazing. We're going to have a lot of fun. You're going to learn a lot about your power, how to do life with power, how to go for the things that you desire. And you're going to walk away with what I call stage 1 blueprint that will allow you to catapult to the next levels. So come out, hang with me. I can't wait to meet you. Let's have a little fun and let's start building your own income, because that is a big part of really claiming your true freedom and letting your true freedom ring. And it doesn't matter what country you live in. It doesn't matter where you are. Okay. So with that being said, let's get to the Power Focus Word of the Week. And then I have a new affirmation for you, or what I like to call, it's a daily relationship mantra that's going to be very freeing. Remember, this month is all about letting your true freedom ring. And of course, that includes, renewing your powerful vision, taking a little bit of time to relax, having some fun, connecting with family where it's appropriate. In other words, where time permits, the thing that you've actually made time for. So we're going to talk about our Power Focus Word of the Week a little bit here, and then I'm going to give you the relationship mantra for the month of July. So with that being said, all right, let's get to it. Now, you guessed it, the Power Focus Word for this week, and there will be others throughout the month, but the Power Focus Word for this week is freedom. So we might as well start with there. Now, of course, what you do with the Power Focus Word of the week is you actually think about it and take the time to process this idea, this concept of freedom and what it means for you, what it means to you. And if you're listening to this and you're thinking, I've had people say, that's not a real thing. There's no such thing as freedom. No, there is. They just don't know how to claim it, because a lot of times their freedom is connected to money. But there are so many other ways that you can connect to your freedom. But with that being said, take the word freedom this week and let that be your Power Focus Word of the week, and become fully aware of what that word means to you. And then let's go from there. So we'll be talking about that throughout this week. All right, so let's get to the daily relationship mantra. And then I'm going to share some insight into how attitude controls your imagination to bring you success, because it can. And when you guys hear this, you're going to go, wow, okay, I never thought about it like that. And you might make a few mental shifts. So here's the affirmation for the month, or what I call a daily relationship mantra. And it starts with, I deserve love because I am love. I deserve peace because I am peace. I deserve and have friends because I am friendly. I resolve conflicts easily because I am conflict free. In my world, I have the perfect mate, the perfect friends, and the perfect business associates. Any perceived bad relationships is for my growth, designed to lead me to my higher loving self, so that I may successfully and effectively serve others. Love is the light. God is love and light. Through God, I am love and light. So this is the affirmation for the month of July. And I want to say this to you guys, that is a kind of freedom. And it's one of the best kinds of freedom. So think about that, process the Power Focus Word of the week, and I want to encourage you to write that mantra down. And it's an affirmation, but I call it a mantra, but write it down so that you can repeat it over and over to remind you of who you really are and how you want your life to flow. And feel free to change it so that you customize it for your life. Okay, so let's talk about how attitude controls your imagination to bring success. Now, true freedom starts in the mind. and it's based on your attitude. So we're going to discuss the part of your attitude that you must control so that you can get the best results for your life. And that part of your attitude that you must control, it's called the law of assumption. Now, the law of assumption is connected to your attitude, and how it affects your attitude determines what you imagine. And so if you've ever heard the saying, what you think about, you bring about. And what made me want to talk about this, I guess, right out of the gate here in this month is when we talk about freedom, letting freedom ring, we're talking about, and we talk about people really getting the life that they desire and manifesting the things that they desire in their life, manifesting wealth, manifesting the best relationships, manifesting true love. A lot of people don't quite understand, and full disclosure here, years ago, I didn't quite understand that either. So, and I realized after a lot of people that I get the opportunity to talk to or coach, and I think, wow, okay, I can see where perhaps they need to open up a little more so that they can receive the things that they desire. So with that being said, in order for you to even open up so you can receive what you desire, you really have to tap into the law of assumption. Now, the law of assumption is it's not based on what's there. It's based on the assumption that you make when you see what's there, how you choose to interpret that. Because we can interpret things as positive or negative. And one of the things that made me want to talk about this is, we had the presidential debate, and full disclosure, I did not watch it. I just catch the highlights online. And I listen to who's saying what, because when it is time to vote, I want to make an informed decision. And one of the things I noticed is that the next day, on my Facebook page and just in general, some of the articles where people added their comments after reading the articles, I noticed, first of all, I noticed that the media didn't highlight as much to say how well Trump did, or how well Biden did, or who did what. So that tells me a lot about who they're supporting, which lets you know that it's very important that you think for yourself and that you look closely to see what people aren't telling you, because they want to guide your thinking. So when we talk about your attitude, and I saw some of the comments on my Facebook page, and they were bashing Trump. Several people were bashing Trump. And then there was a chosen few that said some good things. But the ones that were bashing Trump, what they didn't understand is that by doing that, that's connected to their attitude. It's connected to what they're seeing. It's connected to their assumption and their interpretation of another human being, another living soul. See, this isn't about whether you like this person for president or not. That's not what it's about. What it's about is the effect that it's going to have on you when you say all those negative comments. It's very difficult for a person to come up with lots of negative comments about a person if it isn't in them to do so. And usually people complain because they're not getting the things that they desire. So it's kind of a catch-22. And the reality of it is, if you just kind of, whether you like one or the other or not, just kind of keep your mouth shut and just think, let the best man win. So now you're coming from a position of positivity. You're coming from this position where you have a great attitude and there's nothing negative going on in your imagination, because it doesn't matter who wins. What happens is, based on the law of assumption, what you assume about another person, it affects you. Okay. It doesn't affect that person. It might hurt their feelings for a minute unless they're really thick-skinned, but for the most part, people who run for president, I think they're kind of geared for that. But the point is, it only affects the person who's delivering those negative comments. So your attitude, it controls your imagination because you start to think a certain way. For example, someone called him a criminal, and I'm thinking, okay, so it's important that you recognize what you're thinking about a person. And I'm not going to go into some of the other things that they said, but it's important. See, again, not about Trump, not about Biden. This is about you. This is about your assumption about others. And your assumption about others says a lot about your attitude. See, it doesn't matter to me which one I like. That doesn't matter. I'm not going to bash either one. Okay. Because I understand that when my assumptions start to take place, what happens is I am molding let's say, what I want God to bring me. Okay. There's a scripture where God tells us to command his hands. Okay. And he says, you command me. And so the best way, or one of the ways that we command God, is through our thoughts, through our attitude, because your attitude puts out a tremendous amount of energy that says, this is the life I want. This is how I want things to be. So if things aren't working for you, then perhaps you want to take a look at how your attitude controls your imagination and how you're not getting the success that you desire. Now, if you take control of your attitude and you start to assume the best, and you start to assume that you're going to get the best outcome in every situation, and you do that. So if you do that, now what's happening is you're controlling your imagination. You're seeing the best for your life. You're seeing what you truly desire in your life. And then what's going to happen is it's that whatever you assume, well, it's going to come to pass. And the only way it won't come to pass is if it is, I want to say if it's negative, but even that's not true, because if you imagine something negative, if you imagine the worst outcome, well, you're going to get that. And this is the beautiful part, you guys, of this relationship mantra that I shared with you. And this is for the entire month of July. So this is the power behind that, because now what's happening is you are controlling your attitude, and your attitude is controlling your imagination. And that's going to bring you the kind of success that you desire, because you're going to assume the best. So it's important that you understand that when it comes to your attitude, the law of assumption is necessary. See, think about this. When it comes to, let's say, the presidential election, so we've got some people like Trump. We've got some people that like Biden. But when you think about that, the people that, let's say, don't like Trump, they're bashing Trump. The people that don't like Biden, they're bashing Biden. But here's what's happening. In essence, they're deciding who's good and who's bad. And so the question becomes, which one is correct? Because you can pretty much find something wrong with both of them. So it becomes, and I'm sharing that to give you an example, to say, and this is again, this is another scripture. And what it says is, there's nothing unclean of itself, but to him that esteemeth anything to be unclean, to him it is unclean. So if you think it's negative, then it's going to be negative. And if you think it's clean, it's going to be clean. That's why we have the choices. So think about it. Some people are going to vote for one. Some people are going to vote for the other. Who's right and who's wrong? So look at your attitude and see, what are you assuming? Now, let's get off of the politics. I wanted to use that because it's such a good contrast in those two candidates. But let's bring this back to you. When it comes to you getting to where it is you desire to be, what are you assuming about your life? I've talked to people who think that there are so many uh, insurmountable challenges in their way, and then when they share it with me, I'm pretty positive. Okay, every now and then I think I might be negative, but I try to stay away from that. But so because I have a positive mindset, and because I assume that it's going to work out and that it's possible, then I can start to see solutions. And whereas they see problems that they can't overcome, I see solutions. So I see where they can actually, okay, if you do this, this, and this, then you'll get beyond what's stopping you, because there's always a way for you to achieve your goals, especially if those goals are connected to your divine purpose. Then you will, if you do your part, you will get to where it is you desire to be. I don't want anybody to think as you listen to this that, okay, if I find my purpose, I'm just going to automatically be successful. No, that's not true. You must just identify some of the faculties and tools that you need to have, and you need to use them. So, for example, we're talking about your attitude and how your attitude controls your imagination to bring success to you. So your attitude is a very powerful tool, and it's not something that anyone can take away from you. You have to give it away. You have to decide to let someone influence you with negativity. You have to decide to participate in those types of conversations. So you have to decide that, okay, here's everything that's wrong. You have to actually, whether you're making that decision consciously or unconsciously, but you have to decide that you're going to put your attention on what's not possible as opposed to what's possible. The law of assumption allows you to put your attention on what's possible. So think about this. What kind of attitude do you really have? And as you listen to this, I want you to actually consider taking the time to write down what you think your attitude is all about. Okay, if you have a journal in it. What is my attitude about? What am I doing that isn't wrong or isn't right? Or what am I doing that's wrong? Because you have to understand, if you assume the best and think only of that which is lovely and of good report. Remember, Paul mentions that in the Bible. Think on these things. So if you think on the best, then now you are in a position to where you can win. Okay. If you can't get along with somebody, then it's important that you still continue to see them in a good light, because that kind of energy can actually cause them to look at you in a different manner. You can still continue to be respectful to that person and not go and talk to 5 other people about how rude they are. And as I said, these are things I had to learn years ago, okay, because it's easy for us to run and share things with our friends or with someone who we think can fix things for us. But the reality of it is they can't fix it for you. You have to fix it yourself. And it starts with your attitude. It starts with what you see in your mind, your imagination. Okay. And so your attitude will control your imagination. Because if you have a negative attitude, then you're going to imagine a negative outcome, and that's what you're going to get. You're not going to get the successful outcome that you're looking for. So if you're not where you desire to be right now, take a look and say, okay, this is where I would like to go in my life, and be honest. And I can tell you right now, it stings a little bit. Okay. Because I can remember years ago that I had to take a look at myself, and I said, wow, you could stand to be a lot more positive. Okay. And you know what? I didn't think I was negative. And you know why I didn't think I was negative? Because I was being factual. I thought I was being factual. This is how it is. This is what that person is thinking, which nobody knows what another person is truly thinking. So my law of assumption, the law of assumption kicked in, and my assumption was that, they're not either trustworthy or they're a bad person or just something like that. Okay. So I'm using, my stories from way back because I want you guys to understand that these are things that I had to learn. And hopefully, when it comes to ego, when it comes to your desire, that you'll have the courage to let go of what doesn't serve you. I had the courage to let go of what was not serving me. Okay. Was it easy? Not really, because I was accustomed to talking with my girlfriends and that kind of silly thing. And it's funny. And now that I look back on it, it didn't even feel good. And now if someone comes to me with that, most of them don't keep talking because I go to the opposite. If they want to complain about someone and what someone else is doing wrong, usually I might say something like, well, that person is probably doing the best they can with what they know. And we're here to help one another. So maybe there's something you can share with them that will help things be a lot better for them. And of course, that's not the answer that they're looking for. So with that being said, you guys, think about your attitude and consider the fact that you're the one that needs the new attitude, that needs to adopt a positive attitude. And just adopt that positive attitude. So it's not about you beating yourself up. It's never about that. I always want to make that clear. It's never about you beating yourself up, but it is about you embracing the most powerful part of who God made you to be, because he made you to be amazing. Okay. And there are other people that are going to assume things about you. So sometimes we go on the defensive and we want to kind of think, well, they're not so great. But you know what? I would say that's okay. Let them assume, but you stay in positive assumption, because this is about your life, the results that you're going to get. And before you know it, you're going to be doing life with power. So hopefully by now you guys understand when I say you're built by design to win, that you have the tools that you need so that you can, in fact, win. Okay. And it starts with the attitude. So that's one of the tools that you have, and you can control that. So that's all I have for you guys, except to remind you, check out the show notes. And as always, I recommend different things. My YouTube channel is now available. So if you have not visited my YouTube channel, please check out the YouTube channel. And feel free to send me comments and say, hey, would you talk about this subject? And I'm happy to do that. If it's a subject that's within my area of expertise, I'm happy to do it. If it's not a subject that's within my area of expertise, I'm happy to bring someone on who can help with that. Okay. So don't be shy. Get what you need so you can get to where it is you truly desire to be. That's the exciting part about life, because you're here to win. You're not here to lose. You're not here to settle. You're not here to have someone treat you like you're less than. Okay. And the only way someone can do that and have it affect you is somewhere in your mind. You have to start thinking like that. So again, you see the power of attitude? Now I could go on and give you tons of examples, but I've been talking long enough. So again, I want you guys to have a magnificent day. And you may want to take the time to write down the relationship mantra, which is our affirmation for the entire month of July. And of course, pay attention to the power focus word of the week, which is freedom. And, and so with that being said, also check out our Build Your Own Income and Masterclass that's coming up. And come and hang out with me. I would love to meet you. You can get answers to your business questions, as well as some of the obstacles that might be standing in your way. So we're going to cover manifestation. We're going to cover a lot of things. So with that being said, you guys, I want you again to have a magnificent day and do life with power, because you're built by design to win.